me. When's the next bus?
The next bus will be here in 4 minutes.
Oh, good. That'll be the number 44.
No, it's number 58.
So when's the next 44? Will it be here soon?
No, it won't.
So when will it be here then?
Never.
Never?
That's right. Number 44 doesn't stop here anymore. You want to stop round the corner.
Would you believe it, eh? By the time I get to the office, I'll have missed morning coffee, all thanks to him. And then I'll probably have to work through the lunch hour. I tell you, I'm just about ready to resign from this job. I'd rather be something more interesting and important, like a detective. Or a famous pop star. What that is that up?
Hello, follow through. Yes? What's that? Today, at 4:30? I don't know if we'll have the studio ready for her by then. I beg your pardon? Yes. Yes. Yes, Mr. Smith. We'll be ready. Goodbye.
Would you like to go to the theatre this evening, Corinne? There's a rather good play on at the National.
Did you know? Zeta Starlight's coming into the studio today. We'll never be ready in time.
Who's Zeta Starlight?
The famous pop star.
Oh, how exciting. What about supper instead?
Prodip, I'm not going anywhere with you this evening.
Why not?
Because I'll be working late in the office, that's why.
Oh, well, that's all right. For a moment, I thought it was because you didn't want to come out with me.
Whatever gave you that idea?
Oh, Joe.
Ooh, good morning, Ted.
Yes. Can you go out to Heathrow Airport right away, please? Zeta Starlight's arriving there today.
And, who is Zeta Starlight? Oh, yeah, I know. The famous pop star.
No. I don't think more water will help it. Water it lightly. Say about once a week during the autumn and winter, and you shouldn't have any problems.
I just hope it won't die, that's all. I'm ever so fond of it.
Oh, don't worry. Do as I tell you and it won't die.
You throwing these away?
Throwing them away? No, certainly not. I'm going to keep them nice and dry and warm till the spring, and then I'll plant them out.
What's the best time for that?
Oh, in March or April. Do you have a garden of your own?
No. But I do have a balcony, and there's lots of window boxes.
Well, that's not so bad, is it? You know, the main thing that a plant needs is love. Oh, and conversation, of course. Love and conversation.
Conversation?
Oh, yes. I talk to them about all kinds of things. They like it.
Oh. Maybe I'll try that.
Yes, try it. Believe me, you won't regret it. Just talk to them. They love it. I promise you, they love it.
This is the entrance to Hampton Court Palace. Hampton Court was the favourite country house of King Henry VIII. It remained a royal residence until the time of George II. Finally, in 1838, Queen Victoria opened it to the public. Today, both the palace and the parklands which surround it remain popular with visitors of all ages. Hello? Hello, may I ask you something? Do you often fish here?
Yes, I sell I'm out of work, so we come down here virtually every day. It's for something to do.
Do you ever catch anything?
Yes, we do, yeah. We had some quite nice ones this season.
We're very lucky around here with the parks that we have here. With this park, Bushy Park, and Home Park, or Hampton Court Park, and Richmond Park,
We've got marvellous facilities for children and for people like me who just like walking.
Do you have many visitors now in winter?
Fair share, and then we have a number of schools. The winter period is allocated especially for schools, instructional courses.
We've already seen lots and lots, but we're hoping to see, a lot more.
We've done the Tower of London already. We've done Westminster Abbey. We haven't done St. Paul's yet, alas, but we will. The British Museum is forthcoming. We'll visit the British Film Institute for 2 days.
I like the castles the most. We went to Warwick Castle, and that was great.
Are you hoping to see any more castles or palaces?
Well, we went to Windsor Castle. Yes. And that was nice. And we're seeing the changing of the guards at Buckingham Palace and changing of the horse guards.
I think these places are always more opulent than I expect in the first place, particularly from British castles. I've somehow expected that European ones would be more opulent, and this seems to me to be perhaps more in the grand European style than the typical English type of stately home, isn't it?
Well, the shows and the theatre and the cinemas are excellent here. The problem, of course, for people from overseas is getting tickets.
The gardens of Hampton Court are as famous as the palace itself. Like the buildings, the grounds reflect the changing styles and fashions of each generation. Henry VIII, Charles II, William III, they all made their own contributions to the design of one of the most delightful gardens in England. Mr. Cook, this is a really magnificent vine. Can you tell me when it was planted?
In 1768 by Capability Brown, who was employed as a gardener here by George III.
Could you explain to me, please, what the gardener is doing there with that knife?
Mrs. Peto is just going about tying in the rods, and she's scraping because the old bark that are on these rods harbours pests. And many pests, of course, hide underneath the bark and get protection. So what she's doing is scraping it off so they start off nice and clean, and that the pests that we're concerned with can't hide under the bark itself. So we make a clean start in the year.
Now, many people may not know very much about Hampton Court, but the one thing everyone knows about is the maize. When was the maize planted?
Well, we think about 1690, approximately. There is evidence to suggest that some form of maize may have been there before, but the geometric construction as it today is, was probably implemented in the 1690s. You see, it takes up about 1/3 of an acre in extent, and the paths within the maze are 1/2 a mile. The hedges comprise at the moment of 3 plants: yew, hornbeam, and privet. Now, there's reason to suggest that when it was planted in 1690, that hornbeam formed the hedges.
Zeta's plane arrives at Terminal 3 at 2:50 in the afternoon.
Now, where will she go after she enters the terminal building?
Well, naturally, as a very important person, she will be taken to the VIP lounge.
Well, what about her, fans?
The fans will all be standing behind these barriers here and here.
How many are you expecting?
Oh, I would imagine about 20,000. Maybe 25.
Now, we're going to have a big car waiting for her, a limousine. So if it waits over there, will that be all right?
Oh, yes, fine. That shouldn't be difficult. Naturally. I imagine that your program will be paying special attention to the highlight of Zita's arrival.
The highlight?
Yes. You see, I'll be greeting her myself with 100 red roses, which I paid for myself, of course. Didn't you know? I'm one of Zita Starlight's biggest fans.
Aren't you a bit old for that sort of thing?
I'm young at heart, Mr. Ralston. Young at heart.
Yes. Now, when our limousine arrives...
After I've presented my roses, I'll recite my poem.
Poem? What poem?
I've written it specially for her. Would you like to hear it?
No.
Oh, good. It goes like this. Roses are red, and violets are blue. To you, Zita Starlight, I'll always be true. I like you much more than anyone supposes, and I really hope that you'll like my roses. I think she'll be pleased, don't you?
Oh, yes. I'm sure she'll be amazed.
The canteen's looking nice, Mrs. Belmont.
Oh, I'm glad you think so, Mr. Stenhouse. I've been cleaning it up for Zita Starlight. I just hope it'll be ready in time for her.
I can't guarantee she'll come to the canteen, you know.
Oh, but she'll want to. I'm sure she'll want to. I'm just wondering what to wear. I don't want to look old-fashioned.
I expect she'll want my autograph. She'll recognise her future star.
I'm sure she can't wait to meet you, Billy.
Do you want your tea or don't you, Mr. Stenhouse? It'll be cold by the time you drink it.
I'll have a cheese sandwich, please, Mrs. Belmont.
There you are, Sarah. Nice and fresh.
Yes.
Oh, you're so lovely. So lovely. Just looking at you makes me feel very happy. I love you. Do you know that? I love you. I'm going to give you a drink now. But when winter comes, you're only going to get one drink a week. So that by the time spring arrives, you'll be so happy and healthy and beautiful.
I'm grateful to that waiter for finding the gun. What a pity his were the only fingerprints on it.
It was a strange place to leave it.
But under a plate cover.
Perhaps our murderer was in a hurry to get rid of the gun.
He may have heard someone coming. Are they still trying to trace the owner of the gun?
Yes, they've got the registration number. They're just trying to trace the owner now.
Did you see anyone else talking to him?
I don't think so.
Are you sure about these two?
Yes. Well, Mr. Hutchinson's one of our regular guests, so I wouldn't make a mistake about him. And Miss Curran, I don't know. I just noticed her, that's all.
I'll be giving their names to the police.
Oh, well, I wouldn't like to get anybody into trouble.
Somebody's already got himself into trouble without your help.
Oh.
Yes?
There was one other person. I've only just remembered.
It's not surprising no one heard the shot.
Most of the people in this hotel now will be halfway across the world by tomorrow evening. Our murderer could be among them.
Well, let's look on the bright side.
What's that?
We might have to go after them and end up somewhere nice like Hawaii.
With our luck, it'll be raining when we get there.
Yes. Right. Thanks. They've traced the registration of that gun.
And?
It's registered with Matthew Gibbs, The Timbers, Chestnut Lane, Lower Chorlton, Surrey.
So what are they doing about it?
They're checking him out. They've gone round to his house. They're going to call us back.
Be nice if it's all so easy, wouldn't it? The murderer leaves his gun. We trace the owner of the gun and find the murderer.
Do you think it'll be that simple?
No.
So I made a list, as you requested, Inspector, of those people my staff noticed talking to the dead man.
Good. So there were 3?
Yes.
Maurice Hutchinson.
A middle-aged gentleman. He stayed with us several times before.
Do we know where he is now?
I've no idea. I don't know where he was going.
Felicity Curran?
She left at the same time as Mr. Hutchinson.
Have you any idea where she is going?
I believe she was traveling to Munich. She'll be arriving there in about half an hour's time.
That leaves us with Alec Lee.
One of our regulars. He's an airline pilot. He was seen greeting the dead man.
Do we know where he will be in about half an hour's time?
He'll probably be in bed. In room 528. He was booked in for the night.
Ah!
Yes? It's for you, Inspector. Your assistant.
Hello. Yes. Oh, right. Well?
Matthew Gibbs is not at home. His wife hasn't seen him since this morning, and she doesn't know where he is.
Well, my wife hasn't seen me since this morning and doesn't know where I am.
The gun was registered in his name.
All right. Do you have a description?
Height 5'10". Weight about 11 stone. Light brown hair, hazel eyes. Blue pinstriped suit.
I might have guessed. Well, we may be no nearer finding the murderer, but we seem to have identified the victim.
Matthew Gibbs.
Which leaves us with the interesting thought that he was shot.
Shot with his own gun.
With his own gun.
Billy! Hey, Billy! I forgot my notes. No way can I do this interview without my notes. So go back to the office and get it for me, will you?
There's no time. Zita's arriving in 20 minutes.
Oh, her plane's late. She won't be here for an hour and a half.
But I don't have a car. She'll be here by the time I get back.
Take the limo.
The limousine?
Right, but be quick. We'll need it later to take her back to the studio.
Okay. The limousine. Wow.
The world of pop music. Glamorous and exciting. Fame, success, money. That's the name of the game. Making it big. Making it to the top.
No one knows the way I feel about that girl.
Well, that's the image. But what about the reality, huh? For every group that's going to make it to the top, there will be hundreds that won't. Here in a small central London recording studio, the group Jeremy's Secret are working on their second record. But will they be a household name in a few years from now? Les, it's obvious that you play a big part in Jeremy's Secret's latest recording, huh? Can you tell me a little bit about your contribution?
I'm going to help them create a master tape from which they can cut a disc from.
And to do this, we're actually recorded on 24 track. So that means we can actually do 24 tracks of different sounds that we'll overlay and build up into their sound they want.
Is that pretty normal in the recording process?
You can go from anything from 4 track upwards, and people do actually create records out of just 2 track tape machines.
Later, I spoke to members of another rock group, Beat Street.
Yeah, I'll start with you. Can you tell me why the name Beat Street for the group?
That's a good question, actually.
Thank you.
Well, I mean, we started on the street, you know, we played a few gigs in just local pubs, which, and we were stuck for an idea, so we just thought of a street band name, and we came up with Beat Street, because our songs should get you moving, so...
Does it say something about the kind of music you play, the name of the group?
Yeah, I mean, well, the single we have released is called Beat Street, you know, but the rest of the music is sort of just developed as we've gone along onto other things, you know, moving into different directions, but we've kept the name Beat Street.
The manager of Beat Street is Alan Whitehead. Alan, do you see Beat Street as a trendsetter?
Well, the unique part of Beat Street compared with many, I mean, obviously there are many groups on the circuit. Beat Street are original by the fact that they used to play quite a bit of rock, and they switched into sort of rock disco. I mean, it's very difficult to categorize any group, but if I were to say that Beat Street is sort of a cross between Average White Band and Police, it's a fair, they play sort of rock to a disco rhythm, they play all their own material, they've got quite a unique feel to the music. As a trend, I mean, I suppose what they're playing now is within very much a trend of, if you like, Michael Jackson's gone very much into rock disco. It's sort of, yes, it's quite trendy, if you like, now. But I think they're unique enough in the fact they write their own music that they're always ahead of what's happening. I mean, I think rock disco, there aren't that many rock disco acts like Beat Street.
Each one of us, being 5 individuals, have got our own taste of music and our own influences, and it's pulling the 5 together which gives you a completely fresh identity. Even though we might like current groups which are in the band and be influenced by those, it's the 5 of us liking different bands which gives us our own identity.
The way it really works from a management point of view, if a group employs, and it's a group that employs the manager, it's not the other way around, then if they didn't listen to what I said, they'd actually be wasting their time employing me. You know, they pay a commission to me. When they ever make a lot of money, they'll pay quite a reasonable commission to me or to my company. Therefore, if they don't listen to what I say, they're wasting that commission. So by and large, if you're dealing with sensible people, you work as a partnership and really an extension of the group. The spokesman in a way, the front person who deals with all the people that come into contact with the group. And yes, we work as a partnership, I suppose.
What do you want as a group? How do you see your future?
Well, we'd really like to have a successful record, and then from there have the group sort of take off, you know, and so we could go professional. That's what we'd really like, all of us.
Thank you, Mrs. Belmont. We'll look after her.
I was going to wear a long dress, but I decided this would be more suitable somehow. What do you think?
Yes, yes, very pleasant. Now, could you kindly wait?
Listen, I can hear her. She's coming down the corridor. I'll open the door for her. Welcome, welcome. welcome